we reached out to both the federal government and to the official opposition, did not get a response from the Liberals, from the Carney government, did hear from the Conservatives. I was able to speak before the program with Adam Chambers, who is a Conservative MP for Simcoe North in Ontario, international trade critic. Here's our conversation. Adam Chambers, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Shawn.
So how do you feel about this move?
Well, I think it's, we're not in a boxing match. I don't think it's fair to judge each move like individually. I think we have to wait until we see the finality of a deal, if there is a deal, and judge, the actions leading to that deal on whether they were good. We're not at the negotiating table. We don't really have perfect information like the government, so it's hard to judge each individual move, on a play-by-play basis. The Prime Minister likes his hockey analogies, so I think we'll have to wait until the game is done and judge the score then.
Okay. Your party has already criticized it, though. I expected you to be criticizing it right here.
Well, look, I'm concerned that this is a significant shift in the strategy that the Prime Minister had promised Canadians he would deliver. So on that sense, I am left to wonder, as I think many Canadians are, what are we getting in return for this? Because the Prime Minister has now decidedly gone, to use his analogy, elbows down when he promised everyone he would be elbows up. But every decision he's made since the election has been not what he had promised, and it's unclear what we have gotten for his actions. But I do think, if you're asking, do we approve of the action or do we agree with it, is it possible that the only way to get the Prime Minister's phone calls returned from President Trump was to make this move to get the Americans back at the table? I don't know, but I think this is definitely against what the Prime Minister had promised Canadians he would deliver. He's also blowing a significant hole in his fiscal plan because he had also promised he was going to get $20 billion of revenue for these tariffs. And so if the Prime Minister didn't intend to keep these tariffs on for a long time, he either misled Canadians when he was in the election, promising he was going to get the money and promising he was going to get elbows up, or he has, failed to deliver on getting a deal, which he also promised he would do a few short weeks ago.
Is it misleading, or is it, as he says, well, there was a time for elbows up and now we've moved past that time?
Well, I don't think he's been very clear about what Canada has gotten for this significant shift in the strategy. So if he's admitting that he's changing the strategy, I think the next question is pretty logical. Well, what are we getting for this massive shift? This was not a sub-narrative of the Liberal campaign in the federal election. This was the narrative. It was all about being elbows up. So if now he's switching to completely elbows down and capitulating, this was the Prime Minister who during the election said that, you cannot vote Conservative because they will sell out Canada or they'll weaken us because Donald Trump wants to own us. Yet this is the Prime Minister now who's capitulating on all the things that Mr. Trump wants us to do.
Does this decision to drop the counter tariffs, does that send a message of weakness, do you think?
I think it could be interpreted as that. Especially since it's unclear what Canada has gotten from removing the tariffs, or what did Canada get from removing other tariffs in a kind of sneakily way during the election. As you'll recall, there was a document that just became public after the election about Canada removing some tariffs during the election, and then also walking away from the digital services tax, which was a marquee tax of Prime Minister Trudeau. But we have not yet seen any of the benefits of those decisions. We still have tariffs on goods by the Americans. Unfortunately, in certain sectors, there are significant challenges. I'm in Ontario. The auto sector still has some significant challenges, our steel and aluminum producers. So unfortunately, and this is the worst case of it all, Canadian families and businesses are paying the price, and workers are unfortunately feeling the brunt of these tariffs still being in place.
Right, and those counter tariffs on those sectors have not been dropped.
No, that's correct. And so, you're asking, are there other options? Well, what did Canada get for the actions of last Friday? It's unclear. I think Mr. Carney should be a little bit more transparent about what Canada's getting in return for these massive climb downs that he promised Canadians he would not do.
Adam Chambers, I really appreciate you coming on the program today. It's good to speak with you.
Thanks very much, Shawn. I appreciate it.